Historical events in focus. 1. The Italy of the Quattrocento. Part 1. What is the Italy of the Quattrocento? During the Quattrocento, Italy experienced an unprecedented cultural, artistic, and scientific flourishing. It was a time of intellectual and artistic renaissance, where important advances took place in the areas of painting, sculpture, architecture, literature, philosophy, and science. Italian cities such as Florence, Rome, Milan, and Venice were key centers of the Renaissance, attracting artists, humanists, and thinkers from across Europe. Great figures such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello emerged during this period, leaving a lasting legacy in art history. Humanism, a school of thought that emphasized the study of the classics, reason, and human development, was also promoted. After this brief introduction, let's get started. The cultural and artistic relevance of Italy during this period. The Quattrocento, which refers to the 15th century in Italy, is a historical period of great importance in the context of the Renaissance. The term Quattrocento means 400 in Italian, and is used to specifically describe this period that spanned from the year 1400 to 1499. The Renaissance, a cultural and artistic movement that spread throughout Europe, found its apogee in Quattrocento Italy. During this period, Italy became a center of innovation, creativity, and transformation, laying the groundwork for significant changes in society, art, science, and philosophy. The Quattrocento was a time of rediscovery of the ideals and classical beauty of ancient Greece and Rome. The artists and thinkers of this time, inspired by classical antiquity, sought to recover and reinterpret the achievements of the old masters. They focused on the study of anatomy, perspective, light and shadow, and other technical and aesthetic elements. This period witnessed the flowering of great artistic geniuses such as Leonardo da Vinci, whose masterpieces such as The Last Supper and the Mona Lisa became icons of Renaissance art. Another prominent artist was Michelangelo, famous for his sculptures such as David and the Sistine Chapel painting. The Quattrocento was also a time of patronage, where influential families such as the Medici in Florence, the Sforza in Milan, and the popes in Rome supported and patronized artists, intellectuals, and scientists. These patrons provided the necessary resources to carry out large projects and promoted cultural and artistic development. In addition to art, the Quattrocento was a time of scientific advancement and exploration. Characters like Galileo Galilei made important discoveries in astronomy and physics, challenging the old conceptions of the world and laying the foundations for modern science. Artistic achievements. The artists of this time made significant advances in techniques and styles, laying the foundation for modern art. Some notable achievements include: A. Painting. Artists such as Leonardo da Vinci revolutionized painting with their mastery of sfumato, subtle gradations between light and shadow, and their detailed approach to human anatomy. His masterpiece, The Last Supper, is an iconic example of Quattrocento painting. B. Sculpture. Michelangelo stood out with sculptures of great realism and emotional expression, such as the famous David and the Moses. His works captured the beauty and strength of the human body, setting new standards in Renaissance sculpture. C. Architecture. The Quattrocento witnessed the construction of magnificent buildings such as the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore in Florence, designed by Filippo Brunelleschi. His innovative use of the dome revolutionized the architecture of the time. Prominent figures. The Quattrocento was home to countless prominent figures who left a lasting legacy in the history of art and culture. A. Leonardo da Vinci. Recognized as a multifaceted genius, da Vinci stood out as a painter, sculptor, scientist, and inventor. His masterpieces such as the Mona Lisa and The Last Supper are iconic examples of Renaissance art. B. Michelangelo. Considered one of the greatest artists of all time, Michelangelo left a lasting impact on the art world. His sculptures and paintings, such as the Sistine Chapel and the David sculpture, are testimonials to his artistic genius. C. Raphael, known for his grace and harmony in painting, Raphael created masterpieces such as the School of Athens and the Sistine Madonna. His smooth, balanced style influenced later generations of artists. D. Donatello, he was a noted sculptor known for his ability to capture realism and emotion in his works. His sculpture David is considered one of the first independent representations of the biblical character. These figures, along with many other Quattrocento artists, architects, and thinkers, left a lasting impact on Western art history and culture. Their innovation, creativity, and technical mastery set new standards and laid the foundation for artistic and cultural development for future generations. Historic context. The Quattrocento in Italy was marked by a series of political, social, and economic changes that laid the foundation for the flowering of the Renaissance. These factors contributed to the environment conducive to creativity and innovation that characterized this period. Discover history in an entertaining and fascinating way. Subscribe to our cultural channel. Join us on an exciting journey through time and space as we explore the secrets and mysteries of the past. Don't miss any of our updates and share it with your friends so they can join in on the fun too. The rise of city-states and their influence on cultural development. The rise of the city-states in Italy during the Quattrocento was a key factor in the cultural and artistic development of the time. These city-states, such as Florence, Milan, Venice, Rome, and Naples, exerted great influence on Italy's political, economic, and cultural landscape. It will detail how the emergence of city-states impacted cultural development, political autonomy, and republican government. The Italian city-states were characterized by their political autonomy. Each city-state had its own government and political system. Many of them were governed by a republican form of government, in which power was in the hands of a ruling elite elected by the citizens. This political autonomy allowed the city-states to make independent decisions and establish policies that promoted culture and the arts. The rulers and ruling elites of these city-states were important patrons, financially supporting artists, intellectuals, and scientists. Patronage and artistic patronage. The powerful ruling families of the city-states, such as the Medici in Florence and the Sforza in Milan, became prominent patrons of art and culture. These wealthy families sponsored artists, architects, writers, and scientists, providing them with financial support and resources to carry out their projects. The artistic patronage of the city-states provided the propitious environment for the flourishing of the arts. The artists received important commissions and projects, allowing them to develop their skills and create masterpieces that have left a lasting legacy in the history of art. Competition and rivalry between city-states. The Italian city-states vied with each other for political power, wealth, and influence. This competition fostered a constant pursuit of cultural and artistic excellence. City-states strove to excel in the cultural arena and often sought to outdo their rivals in terms of art, architecture, literature, and music. This competition stimulated creativity and innovation as artists and intellectuals strove to reach new heights and leave their mark on history. Rivalries between the city-states also led to the formation of distinctive art schools, each with their own style and approach, further enriching the cultural landscape. Cultural exchange and cosmopolitanism. The Italian city-states were centers of cultural and commercial exchange. Due to their strategic geographical location, they were in direct contact with different cultures and traditions. Trade and interaction with other regions in Europe, Asia, and Africa brought with it an exchange of ideas, knowledge, and artistic styles. The resulting cosmopolitanism in the Italian city-states enriched the cultural scene and allowed for the fusion of diverse influences. Artists and intellectuals had the opportunity to interact with people from different backgrounds, which stimulated creativity and the exchange of ideas. In short, the rise of the city-states in Italy during the Quattrocento provided a favorable political and economic environment for cultural and artistic development. Patronage, competition between city-states, cultural exchange, and cosmopolitanism were crucial factors driving the flowering of the Renaissance in Italy. Thanks to political autonomy and the support of the ruling elites, artists and intellectuals were able to create masterpieces and contribute to the cultural legacy that has endured to this day. The influence of humanism. Humanism and the rediscovery of the classics were two fundamental aspects that significantly influenced cultural development during the Quattrocento in Italy. The influence of these movements is developed in detail below. Humanism. Humanism was an intellectual movement that focused on the study and appreciation of human nature, reason, and education. Quattrocento Italian humanists drew inspiration from the writings and ideas of classical philosophers and scholars, especially from ancient Greece and Rome. The humanists rejected the theocentric vision of the medieval world and focused on the human being as a rational individual capable of developing his talents and abilities. They promoted the importance of education in the liberal arts, which included the study of literature, philosophy, history, and the natural sciences. Rediscovering the classics. During the Quattrocento, there was a rediscovery of the texts and literary works of classical antiquity. Italian scholars and intellectuals searched for and translated ancient Greek and Roman manuscripts, which had been forgotten or lost during the Middle Ages. The rediscovery of the classics gave Italian intellectuals access to the knowledge and ideas of ancient Greece and Rome. These classic texts covered a wide range of topics, including philosophy, history, politics, poetry, and art. The study of the classics provided Quattrocento artists and intellectuals with a solid foundation for the development of new ideas and approaches in art and culture. They drew inspiration from the themes, styles, and techniques of the old masters and adapted them to their own context and artistic vision. The rediscovery of the classics also influenced the way works of art were presented and literature written. Artists sought to imitate classical beauty and harmony in their compositions, while writers drew inspiration from the structure and style of ancient authors to create new literary works. Political conflicts and wars. Although the Quattrocento was a period of great cultural development, it was also marked by political conflicts and wars. The Italian city-states vied with each other for power and resources, leading to frequent clashes and rivalries. In addition, Italy was affected by external conflicts, such as the Italian wars and invasions by foreign powers, such as France and Spain. These conflicts had an impact on the political and socio-economic stability of the region, but they could not stop the cultural and artistic flourishing that characterized the Quattrocento. Art and architecture. The Quattrocento in Italy was a period of great artistic and architectural production. Some of the major works of art and architecture that emerged during this time are highlighted. The Last Supper by Andrea del Castagno. This mural painting represents the biblical scene of Jesus' Last Supper with his disciples. It was created by Andrea del Castagno in the 1440s and is located in the convent of Santa Apollonia in Florence. The work stands out for its dramatic composition and the realism in the representation of the characters. Spring by Sandro Botticelli. This famous oil painting, created around 1482, is considered one of the masterpieces of the early Renaissance. Botticelli represents an allegorical scene of spring, full of symbolism and mythological figures. The work is in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. The Nativity of Venus by Sandro Botticelli. Another iconic work by Botticelli is The Nativity of Venus, painted around 1485. The painting shows Venus emerging from the sea on a shell, surrounded by mythological characters. It is known for its aesthetic beauty and elegant and harmonious style. Dome of the Florence Cathedral, designed by Filippo Brunelleschi. The dome of the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore in Florence is one of the most outstanding architectural achievements of the Quattrocento. Designed by Filippo Brunelleschi, its construction was completed in 1436. The dome is known for its innovative structural design and its visual impact on the Florence landscape. David by Donatello. The sculpture of David made by Donatello in bronze is considered one of the most important sculptures of the Quattrocento. The statue shows David, the biblical hero, in a contrapposto pose with a serene and confident expression. The sculpture is currently in the Museo Nazionale del Bargello in Florence. To be continued.